Okay. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I'm so excited for my guest today, Alina Z. And Alina and I met on Instagram years ago. I actually was trying to remember and I couldn't actually remember who approached who first or whatever, but I remember looking at your page and seeing beauty, like flowers and just pleasure was like oozing from it. And I'm like, this girl is a kindred. And we started connecting, but little did I know how special you would become to me in my life because you are the number one person that I actually think of when I think of pleasure. And when I think
Oh,
of, yes, when I think of pleasurable living and like deep self-love and authenticity in it as well. When you and I, this was so neat. We actually got to meet when I went down to LA and in person and went for lunch, and that was the best. And I remember just sitting there and going, this girl is so real. Like our conversation got so real so fast that it lit me up. And that's another reason I really want to have you as my very first interview because our conversation was so fun that day at lunch. And I'm like, that is what I want to bring into this. So thank you so much for coming on my podcast. And why don't you just start by letting whoever is listening, the beautiful women listening, letting them know what brought you to the place you are right now. I did read your bio, they've heard who you are, but I want to hear your heart story of what brought you to the place right now where self-love, pleasure, food, fashion, all of that is so important to you that you're making it your career.
wow, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, that lunch was also life-changing for me in some ways because I went
Mm,
home after we talked. I was like, okay, I have to break through this block that I found in myself. And I
mm,
did, which was a lot of
beautiful.
pleasurable, very pleasurable experience. But what brought me here, I was very like as a child, I was at home a lot. I was always lonely. I was very lonely.
Mm,
And I was watching a lot of movies and they were my friends. And I didn't really, I had friends, but where I lived, I couldn't see them. So like
mm,
I didn't have enough of things that I wanted to do. And then when I broke free, I came to America and I was doing things like I had to do, like following the career path. I went to college, I got a job, I went to get grad school degree, I got master's, then I got a job as a VP of marketing for a catering company. And I'm just doing all these things, got married, I
mhm,
got divorced. And it's like when you keep running the race, you just get exhausted. And so I went on
mm,
vacation and it was a cruise with Wayne Dyer and the Hay House. And he said, long story short, don't die with your music in you. And
mm,
that was like, I was 29. I was thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, what is this for? Like, you keep doing and doing and doing and doing, but you are not being, you're not
mm,
happy. You don't take time to pause and literally don't pause to smell the flowers, right? You just keep
mhm,
doing things that others expect from you. And I'm sure a lot of women can relate because it's like we are told this is what we need to do, right? When you come home from school, your parents go, how did you do today? They don't go, how did you feel today? Right?
mm,
Nobody asks you what brought you joy today. Nobody says, why don't you go take a break for joy? They go, take a break so you can study more, so you can work more. So there's always a goal in mind. And I think that cruise and that pivotal moment, and also just like, when you're like 27 to 29, you have I'm into astrology. So it's like your Saturn return. So you figure out like, who am I as a person?
mhm,
And so I decided to quit my job and move to Florida because I'm like, that brings me pleasure. Like what I realized? I wanted to live in Florida and be at the beach when I still can look good in a bikini and not when I'm 80 years old. And then like I retire. And then what if I die? Like,
mm,
you're not guaranteed a life, right? So that was a waking up moment for me. But it wasn't easy. It wasn't like all of a sudden you're like, I'm gonna go and have pleasure in life and love myself. Then you start finding all these roadblocks. I'm not good enough. I'm not skinny
mm.
enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough. And then you peel those layers and you do a lot of work and you're like, oh my God, I'm great. Everything's sunshine and flowers. And then you find more roadblocks, more things to peel because we're such complex individuals. And if you really find this in you in your late 20s, let's say, if you're lucky, you have to unpack only those 20 something years of bullshit that you were told. But if
Mhm.
you unpack it when you're 40, that's like 40 years of bullshit. And it's a lot. And it just hurts. Women, we have so much pain in our shoulders because we carry the weight of the world, and then we put it in our bellies. So we have the weight in the belly, and then we gain weight, and then we have like physical weight. And then
Mhm.
like there is no time for pleasure, because pleasure is only for beautiful people who are skinny
Mhm.
and they're worthy ones. So until you lose weight and you look perfect, like you don't deserve the pleasure. So that was like another story that I had. So it's like peeling all of that stuff and realizing like there's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way, right? There's no way
Yeah.
to pleasure. Pleasure is the way, and it's now. It's now.
Oh,
Like
I love that.
you have to, like, I was getting ready, for those of you who can see me, I'm wearing this little nighty, whatever, like this little silk cami. And it just makes me happy. And you know
Mm.
what? Nobody's gonna see it here. There's no guys here right now. Who knows about tonight? No, I'm kidding. But
You have to
I'm
bring your mic for your sexy voice we are talking about.
yes, that's right. Who knows about tonight? I don't know. But the thing is, like, I wear sexy clothes for me now.
Mm.
I eat foods that make me happy now, like not for anybody, not for a goal, but just for the pleasure of being. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, somehow I got there over the last, I don't know, 15 years. And now I teach women how to do that same thing, because I kind of paved the road. I'm like, okay, I can help other people not make the same mistakes. So you save time, because I had to pave the path, but now the path is paved. So all you have to do is just follow it. So, yeah.
Oh, so good. Ah, so many things I want to ask you. Just even from that intro. I remember it was actually maybe a month ago, I posted a meme and it was funny, but it brings me back to, wear what you want to wear for yourself, right? And I posted a meme and it said something along the lines of I choose my underwear depending on the chances of me having sex that night. And today I'm wearing, there was like a plastic bag I found flying down the street.
I remember that meme.
Laughing so hard when I read that. And, and I posted and you're like, sweetheart, no, you need to wear your sexy underwear for you, independent. And yeah, as funny as that meme was, and I actually wasn't wearing that great of underwear that day. And then because I was just feeling kind of low. It was a kind of a rainy, low day. And then and I thought, oh, that relates, haha, right? And then when you wrote that, I'm like, my gosh, thank you for the reminder. And I went into my closet and I pulled out like matching beautiful lingerie, bra and underwear, and it instantly lifted my spirits. And
Mm.
so thank you for that, right? Like that's you paving the way, you living, you doing the do, and reminding me in it too, which is so neat because this is also what I do. I teach women this also. And then here I am relating to some freaking meme about a bag flying down the street. And so I think that was really special. And this
Thank
actually,
you.
yeah, thank you. And this brings me to this one paragraph that stood out to me in your book. I've read your book twice and I love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
And this one paragraph, I had it highlighted and I started again when I was looking at things to talk about on this podcast. And I'll read it. Imagine what it would feel like if we accepted and loved ourselves as we are without feeling guilty for not fitting into someone else's standards um, for our beauty. What would we choose to eat then? How would we treat ourselves if we accepted the fact that we weren't perfect according to some theory, weren't perfect by our or anyone else's criteria, yet we were still good enough to be loved? And it's funny, I'm actually getting teary with this. Like when I read this, so many of my clients come to me just feeling so unlovable, so unworthy, right? Just really deep in that not enough. And it shows up in how they're dressing, how they're moving throughout their lives, how they're feeding themselves, even how they're taking a shower, right? Like instead of like today I loved it. I was getting ready and I took like this beautiful shower gel that I have, and it's rose scented. And I was like feeling so much gratitude that I had that and I was able to nourish myself with that, and when we don't feel like we deserve it because we're not according to society's standard or our own standard, whatever, it just brings me so much sadness, yet so much hope, knowing that there's women like you doing the work you're doing and influencing me to go on and put sexy underwear on.
Oh,
You know?
it's so funny you read this quote because I at one point I was feeling low and I couldn't find any solutions and I was like, honey, you wrote the book. Go reread
Mm,
it. It was before I
mhm.
published it. And after I read it, I was like, oh, I gotta publish it. But it's so true. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And so women don't feel worthy. And you have to start if you want, I can like share one exercise that really helped me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
um if person who's listening right now is feeling that way, and like I totally get it, you don't have to love yourself, honestly, like you don't, but you can start with appreciation, right? You
Mm,
can appreciate and say, I appreciate my legs for getting me from point A to point B. Appreciate my arms for carrying my kids or the groceries, or I appreciate my eyes for seeing whatever beauty that I get to see or movies I get to watch. So you start appreciating, and then appreciation grows into love eventually. Like if you just kind of place that seed, like I feel, once I dropped this whole big jewelry thing on the floor and all of these necklaces got tangled, like there were maybe like 50. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna untangle them. And I just left them and they were on the floor for like 3 days. And I was like, okay, I gotta start somewhere. And I was really feeling overwhelmed, but I thought, you know what? I don't need to commit to the whole thing. I'll just commit to picking out like one necklace out of the 50,
mhm.
and like one thing and led to another. And I stopped really thinking about it. And then I did half of it. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then I did half later. So with the same thing with self-love, like don't feel like you need to untangle all of it. But I think also working with pretend and appreciation, like let's say you appreciate your butt for being able to sit. So why don't you dress up that butt in a cute
Mm,
underwear? Not for anybody else's standards of sexy, but for your standards. Like, what if you loved your butt? What if? Just pretend, right? What would you wear? And like I threw out all of the underwear that doesn't bring me joy. Like I don't have
mhm,
any non-sexy underwear. I really don't. Like sexy underwear
mhm,
brings me joy. And not as or not yeah, they're mostly thongs, but I have like some briefs or whatever, but they're pretty and they make me happy, and nobody's going to see them, but I'm going to know and I'm going to
mhm,
feel. And the thing is that if a long time ago, baby, and you were worthy of love, like you didn't have to deserve your mother's milk, right? But
mhm,
then later, a couple of years later, someone says something mean to you and they made you believe that you don't deserve love, and you believed it, right? You can do the same thing now. You can literally say something to yourself that you don't think is true. You don't think you deserve love, but you say, I'm worthy of love. And you just pretend and you just keep saying it. And eventually it will stick because your mind is so smart. It will be like, hell yeah. Like in my book, I talk about how I looked at myself in the mirror once and I was like, God, you're so ugly. And my
mhm,
heart was hurting for like half an hour. I couldn't breathe. And I was like, wow, that's so powerful.
mm,
And now, like, I look at myself in the mirror every night. I say, good night, honey. And I say to myself, and sometimes I don't look pretty. And I'm like, oh, I don't look so good. And I'm like, go apologize. Go
mm.
apologize.
Yeah.
Because like it's all habits. And in the beginning, when you just try it on, just like clothes, I also tell women that sometimes we wear shoes that someone gave us when we were 5, and they're in our mind, they're mind shoes, the pretend shoes.
Mhm,
Like somebody told you a thing and it fit back then but it doesn't fit anymore, but you keep wearing it, right? Like you did something stupid and somebody called you stupid, but you keep wearing the thought that you are stupid. So
mhm,
you just, if it was the actual shoes, like you would look at your 5-year-old feet and your feet now, like you would not wear them, they obviously don't fit. So why would it fit that somebody called you stupid when you were 5, when you did something 5-year-olds do, but now you're a grown woman, like you don't do that stuff anymore.
mhm,
Like it just, like you have to take it off. You have to try on new things, new clothes, new thoughts, same thing, new beliefs. You just try them on. And, of course, sometimes they like like a leather jacket, it might not fit right away, but you just keep like stretching it in and stretching in that self-love and, cozying up
Mhm.
to the belief that like maybe I don't love myself yet, but I'll appreciate myself. I'll appreciate whatever. And in my book, I talk about so many different exercises, but it's like if somebody's lost just like one thing at a time and appreciation and pretend.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I remember reading in your book and you were saying how you started with your fingernails. I have
Yes.
strong fingernails and I appreciate those fingernails. And I really love that you pointed out, you don't have to love yourself, right? Like that is beautiful to have that goal and to reach that. But the appreciation start it's such a attainable thing, especially when it's with that intention of respect, right? So I love that thought of like, okay, I don't love my body, but I respect my body. And how do I treat someone I respect? And that part about apologizing, that's something that I did too. And that changed everything. If I walked past a mirror and my brain went, oh, blah, 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 right? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, body. I don't speak to you like that anymore. And then moving forward. So I have goosebumps. I knew it. Like you're so in alignment with everything I love. And that word appreciation, I think it's really powerful because a lot of women that I talk to, they're like, even the word respect is hard right now. But being able to go, well, what can you appreciate? What can you appreciate? And I think about women who have had children, right? And their stretch marks and all of these things. And it's like, you might not love it, most likely not love it, right? Maybe respect might be a hard thing, or it doesn't feel nourishing enough, but appreciating. And then I love how you take it a step further. What that part you appreciate, how can you show it love, right? Like put on some sexy underwear. So I'm thinking about stretch marks. I appreciate these. Thank you for carrying this baby. And now I'm going to go and put some beautiful lotion and rub my
Exactly.
stomach, right? So it's like taking action to solidify that belief, to really imprint that embodied emotion of
Yeah.
that appreciation. Brilliant. Love
Yeah.
it.
And
Love it.
it comes to food too, like how do you appreciate your body with food if you have stretch marks and you feel like you're a fat person?
Mm-hmm.
Some women call
Mm-hmm.
themselves horrible names and they're like, I don't deserve good food because I'm fat, and obviously fat people don't deserve anything good.
Mm.
um you really have to come through that and just be like, okay, well, this is my stomach and this is the size of it. Which, by the way, if a woman is asked to show where her stomach ends, like physically, she will literally put like a few inches in front of it. Like she thinks her stomach is literally bigger than it is. Like
Right.
it's bizarre. But feeding yourself for appreciation, right? Not like to numb. And that's a whole
Mm.
different conversation, like how we numb our pain, but
Yeah.
it's not really doing anything, right? Numbing just takes away your attention for a few minutes, but afterwards you feel even worse because now you still have the pain emotionally. Now you have a stomach that's full and it's already been full. So, but appreciating yourself with food. And people laugh at me, but I used to call myself, now it's like I guess it's a habit. I used to make myself call myself honey darling, and I'm like, honey
Mm.
darling, what do you want? What will make you feel good, what will give you energy? And again, me, like I'm not at all into like this is healthy and you should be eating this. Like
Yeah.
I'm into, this is healthy and it tastes delicious and it's so
Mm-hmm.
nourishing and it's so pleasurable, then I'm going to eat it. Like I will never eat anything that's less than all of it. And there are
Mm-hmm.
ways to eat things that are healthy and yummy and nourishing and fit you and make you feel amazing afterwards. Like there is a way. If I could do it, who's like the laziest person that I know. I mean, God, I went to a raw food academy because I didn't want to cook. I was like, I'm just gonna learn how to make this stuff so I don't have to cook.
Oh my
Um,
God, that's awesome.
yeah, I mean, literally, like, and then like I got hired as a chef and now like I cook for a living, but it's a different
Yeah.
approach that I have for cooking now.
Mm-hmm.
But if a marketing executive who did not know that you need to peel shallots before you put them in the soup and blend them. If somebody like that can figure it out, so can you. So
Oh, that's so good. And you posted recently, it was a couple of days ago, sometime last week, you holding carrots, I think. And it was like, I'm not going to eat vegetables unless it's pleasurable.
exactly.
Right. And so talk more about that. I would love, please, to just discuss a little bit more about how you infuse pleasure into your cooking on purpose. Like, do you have any tips for the listeners?
So my biggest tip is dating. My biggest tip is dating is that, when you're dating a person, you have the pros and cons and you have your ideal, right? And you
Mhm,
say like, these are the things that I like and these are the things that this person has. And you usually date somebody who has things that are close to your list,
mhm,
which actually I say they don't have too many things because then you're going to be single. But with food, I think it's the same thing. Like write out a list of all the things that you love to eat and then write
mhm,
a list of things that are healthy and then see what crosses over
mhm,
because like I personally love carrots. If you don't love carrots, like don't eat carrots. But if you like cook carrots or carrots too or something, then eat that. And I think it's getting to know ourselves better. You have to really ask yourself, like, what is it that I love eating? Like my client called me, she said, I want ice cream. I have PMS, I want ice cream. I said, okay, great. But she doesn't want to eat it because she knows it's bad for her.
mm,
And I said, why do you want ice cream? Is it the cold? Is it the creamy? Is it the dairy? Is it the sugar? Is it the fat? What is it? And she's like, sweet. She wants sweet sugar. I said, okay, how about an apple? Because she likes apples. She's like, oh my God, great idea. I'm gonna get fruit. But if you wanted creamy, like there's other creamy things, or that if you want
mhm,
cold, there's other things that are cold that can also be healthy. I mean, for goodness sake, there's healthy ice cream as well. But again, like the biggest thing to do when you pick those things is not like, oh shit, Alina told me I have to eat this way, so I'll be skinny and everybody will love me. Like,
mhm,
no, Alina told you to find things that you already love to eat for the body you appreciate right now.
mhm,
So you
mm,
can feel
mhm,
love, be feeling loved right now by the way you're eating. You're gonna feel loved. Like it's not about later. Later might never come, but you deserve so much more than settling for junk food and settling for healthy food that tastes like garbage. Like it has to be all of it, and there are things like that. But again, like, I don't know who is listening, right? I don't know what her mood is like. I don't know what she's in the mood for. So I want to do a little exercise with you,
mhm.
chances since you're in the closet. And so, for those of you who are watching, like I'm in LA, so I'm wearing this little skimpy tank top, and Chancey is in cold Canada where it's snowing. So, if you are coming into your closet, like if you even go with your hand, you don't have to show us stuff. Like touch different fabrics. Like some of them are soft, some of them are smooth. Some of see that silky thing.
Mhm,
Some might be furry, some might be fuzzy. Right? There's different textures.
mhm. It's
So
like a
that
nice furry one.
the nice furry one, and put out that silky skirt or whatever. Yeah, that's that bright color, that thing. Yeah.
This thing or
Yes.
the
What is it? Yeah, what that
this
thing?
is just like a what do you call it? Oh my gosh, why can't I even think
Like
about
a
it?
scarf?
It's here, I'll pull it down. There we go. It's just you just put it over. It's like a nice is it tunic? Is that what this is
Okay.
called?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love
So is
this.
you see how it's like really light, but right now, if I ask you to wear it to walk around your house, you're probably not gonna because you'll be cold. Or if I tell you to go
Mhm,
outside, you're not gonna. But that warm sweater you will wear because it's fuzzy and it's thick and it will keep you warm.
mhm,
So and also body constitution, like some of us have more heat in the body, some of us always feel cold. So the same way you intuitively know if it's cold outside, I'm going to wear a sweater. If it's hot outside, I'm going to wear a tank top. I want you to think about food the same way. So in my
mm,
book, I talk about foods and fabrics, and I think of like protein that's organic, like animal protein, is like a cashmere sweater, but processed GMO meat that is bad quality and you don't know what's in it, like a processed acrylic sweater that feels really itchy on your body and makes you
mhm,
sweat. Um, you will probably wear the cashmere sweater with more joy, and you would only wear it when it's cold, right? So the same with meat. Eat meat when it's cold outside because it will actually give you more warmth. Or I'd compare like light silks to raw foods because if it's hot outside, you want to eat something that's cooling and soothing and feels silky and smooth. like fruit. So there's a lot of different ways to that I talk about in my book. I don't want to take the whole podcast to compare the fabrics, but if you even think about it that way, like what's pleasurable and where are you going, how are you feeling, and
Hmm.
then intuitively start thinking, does this food make me feel hot or cold? This food makes me feel soothed or hyper? Like if you're feeling hyper and like your energy is in your head, finding foods that grow inwards, that are
Mm.
grounding, like potatoes, so balancing energy. We always want to find balance, we always want peace, right? And if you're feeling like a couch potato already, then finding foods that uplifting, that defy gravity, that actually grow upwards from the earth,
Hmm.
um like greens or asparagus or broccoli or whatever. But finding that within yourself, like what it is that you actually want. Because a lot of times we think, okay, I feel sad, I'm going to eat ice cream, but we never question it. We never question,
Mm.
like, why do I want ice cream? What does it do for me? How does it bring me joy? How does it bring me pleasure? So like doing a little bit more of that analysis with like touching the clothes you're wearing, like I'm wearing something silky, I should probably eat something just as light. Can give you an insight into your own bio individuality, and like I call it couture nutrition, where you find the best quality ingredients and create your own customized lifestyle. Not even a diet. Like I hate the
Hmm.
word diet because the words die in it. Like live it,
Exactly. Blech.
live it, live it, live it. I mean, like it's a lifestyle, you know. Like I had ice cream for breakfast the other day, like, but I had my way, the way I like it, the way it brings
Hmm.
me pleasure and makes me feel good afterwards. Because I don't want to settle for one night bite. Like you always say, one night stand, one meal stand. Like you don't want to settle for one meal
Yeah.
stand and feel shitty afterwards. You want to have a relationship
Yeah.
with cereal food.
Oh my gosh, right? Like I think about, yes, like sitting down and having something that feels good for about 2 seconds. It totally is. It's like the one night stand where after you're like, what the fuck was that for?
Right, exactly.
Like
Not even
now
worth
I'm,
it.
yeah, now I feel like full. I feel kind of empty. Maybe I have a sugar high and now I'm like, ugh, it's exactly the same thing. Like now I need to go like, oh, have a shower and like sage.
Right, exactly. But it's like we think sex is the most intimate thing, but really eating is, because
Mm, yeah.
sex, like, penis can only go like I don't know how many inches into your body, but food goes into your body like throughout the whole body,
My
right?
goodness.
Throughout
Yes.
the whole body, it becomes your cells, it becomes your organs, it becomes your blood, it becomes your thoughts. Like it's so much more powerful than anything can penetrate you. That the food that you're eating and the way it affects your body affects you. And
Mhm.
I know that some women, and I in particular, can feel guilty about certain things in our lives. And that's why we feel like we're not good enough. And if we're not good enough, we're going
Mhm.
to punish ourselves. And what do bad girls do? They punish themselves with food. But then you also
Mm.
feel bad about punishing yourself. So you need a treat. and then you
Right.
need. And then you need to also punish yourself for having the treat because you're a bad girl. So it's like a silliest little thing that goes in your head. But yeah, we just need to, like, okay, well, I did something bad, whatever. You have to journal through it and whatever you need to do. But like, you're not a bad person.
Mhm.
When you were a little baby, like you were a good little baby, just things happen and you deal with them the best way you know how. But now, like, you don't need to punish yourself with a one night stand, you don't need to punish yourself with a not one meal stand. Food
Mhm.
should not be a punishment. And I know some women don't think they deserve pleasure, they don't deserve joy, but I question it, like, well, how do you know who does? Like,
Mm.
does Mother Teresa deserve joy because she's a good person? Um, how do you know who did, like, celebrities? How do you know they deserve joy? And again, it comes back to the baby. When you were a baby, you deserve joy. So like, you were born deserving your mother's milk, you didn't have to
Yeah.
work for it, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of parents leave their kids. There's kids who are adopted, there's kids who are not loved, so they're being taught that they're not worthy. But if they were switched with another baby in the hospital, they would be taught that they are worthy.
Mhm.
So it's again, it's just like somebody telling you worthy or not worthy, but it's a person who just made that up because they had a bad day sometime a long time ago and they became angry.
Mm.
And that also maybe have caused because someone else told them something bad because they had a bad day. It's like generation after generation after generation of really hard lives that are affecting you right now, thinking you are not good enough to eat a really, really good piece of cake. that can be organic and yummy and with the best ingredients, and you can eat it with savoring every bite or whatever it is,
Mhm. Or
but
wearing the most beautiful lingerie. I really, Alina, I love how you're bringing fashion and food together, right? The nutrition couture. I love that. And one of the things that I find a lot of women struggle with is, what actually do I want? Right? When they start giving themselves permission to eat with pleasure and to nourish themselves and to love themselves this way, they're like, I'm so disconnected. I think I want ice cream, but what do I actually want? Right? So this one thing you had me do, this activity, it's such a powerful way to show, okay, how does this feel on the outside of your body? Because we're quite often so much more in tune with the external sensation than that in those internal sensations, right? So it's like, how does this feel on you? And that when you look at, like, do you run hot? Do you run cold? All of these different things. That's a really neat way to pave that way, to help bridge, to be able to go, okay, now let's tune into this internal felt sense. Let's go into your thoughts. What are you actually wanting?
yeah.
What do you need right now to love yourself the most, right? What feels most like love? And that is such a brilliant way to do it.
I
I
have
love that.
I have another one. I just reached for my glass, and it's a very cool way to trick that subconscious mind. So what you can do is you go to a store that you like. You know what you like. You like
Hmm.
this store, but you don't like that store. You go to stores that you like that have beautiful glassware, and I love gold, and like this really pretty glass makes me so happy. And just buy
Hmm.
things for I have gold silverware, not silverware, goldware, whatever. But I
Right.
have gold cutlery
Yeah.
and really pretty plates, and you just buy them because you know what feels good, the things, colors that feel good to you. And then when you eat from beautiful plates and beautiful cutlery and beautiful glasses, you will see a shift subconsciously, like, ooh,
Mm.
this piece of whatever doesn't fit in this beautiful
Mm.
plate, because this beautiful plate, believe it or not, is an extension of you. The beauty that you bring into your life is an extension of you because it's your choice. Like,
Hmm.
you connect with it on this vibrational level. This glass vibrates somehow on the same level as me, and it makes me so happy. So like, I'm not going to put junk in it. And
Right.
then
Yeah.
and then you eat, because like you mentioned, like touching the things and feeling the actual physical things is much more intuitive for women. So it started there with clothes, and migrate into your not pantry, but the closet in the kitchen where you store the dishes, and your
Pantry.
pantry,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
where you store glasses, and like buy beautiful glassware, beautiful plates, and just eat from that, and you will see how that will make you feel better already about
Mm.
just eating, about yourself. It will bring joy to the plate, not guilt or punishment, but like, you literally cannot feel guilty or like feel like you're punishing yourself when you drink from a beautiful glass.
Hmm. And that really goes back to, I can really relate that to when you were saying about appreciating different parts of your body, right? You see your butt, you're like, I appreciate you, and you dress it accordingly. It's the same thing. It's like buying clothes for your food, right? A beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
exactly.
cutlery,
Clothes for your
beautiful thing.
food. I love that. Clothes for
Yeah.
your food. Oh my
Like this
God.
gorgeous glass, and you're appreciating what you're putting in, and it's like full circle. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love it.
You
It's
know,
so fun.
I was taking this course in dating, and the really cool distinction that I found, like, instead of saying to a man, like, as a woman, you don't say, I want this, I need this, you can say, I love this, or I like
Mm,
this, and then let the man come, do things for you, or woman, whoever you're dating. But I think, like, as a feminine energy, if you're a feminine person who is listening, it's easy for us to know what we like. So
mm,
start there, start
mhm,
liking things, bringing things that you like into your life, whether you think you deserve it or you don't deserve it. Like, just appreciating your body is enough. And then liking things. And the more, it's like crowding out, the more you bring things that you like, and the more you appreciate things, it will expand. What you focus on
mhm,
expands, right? So you start finding things, like, you make it as a game. What do I like? What I like? What I like? What I appreciate. And
mhm.
then it's like a snowball. It's so fun too. It's a beautiful snowball.
It is such a beautiful, it's like a sparkly snowball,
It's
you
just,
know?
and I love sparkles. And I buy flowers for myself. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, am I worthy of not flowers or not? It's not even the point. I like flowers. I want flowers. I'm buying flowers. They make me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
And then when I surround myself with things that make me happy, and these are from Trader Joe's for like $7, and they're
Right.
there for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
um, you start filling your soul with joy. It just becomes like it's just one thing after another, but literally you don't have to, it's like autopilot. But if you think just what do you like and appreciate some things in your body, even just like one or two things, it will continue that way. It
Mm.
really will.
Yeah. And starting with that discovery, right? Starting with that, I'm choosing to appreciate myself, moving towards love. I'm apologizing to my beautiful body if my brain thinks thoughts, because our brain will always think thoughts and we get to choose what to do with them, right? And I love that. Then moving forward to getting to know yourself, because a lot of women, I remember I had one client, I'm like, go buy yourself flowers. And she said, I stood in front of the flowers and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what I like, because I've always purchased them for someone else or I'm having company over, right? Like with someone else in mind. So starting small and getting curious, right? Getting to know yourself again. I think that it is so fun. So it's like Alina and I are just giving you permission. Here's your permission slip. You don't need one, but if you think you need one, here it is. Right? Find pleasure, get to know yourself. What do you like? What lights you up? What makes you feel? This brings me back to the ice cream discussion. What makes you feel pleasure now, an hour from now, a week from now, right?
Yeah.
Instead of looking for that one night stand, what do you really desire? And start
Yeah.
there and move forward in there.
And
So beautiful.
I'm sure, and for some reason I can hear somebody's voice in my head right now, maybe my old voice, but I don't have those anymore. But I hear someone's listening and they're saying, Alina, I don't have time. I have a family, I have kids, I have a
Mm,
husband. This is selfish. I don't have time to do this. And I want to tell you, the one who's thinking that, is that it's selfish not to, because your husband deserves a wife who is so radiant and so
mm,
beautiful and so loving. And your kids deserve a mother who is so happy and so loving and who is there with them. Because if you're stressed out and you're running around making everybody happy, it just annoys people because they want you to be happy. They care about you. They love you so much. They want you to be happy too. And they
mm,
want, selfishly, they want your energy to be happy so that they can have a happy mother and happy wife, right? They want
mhm.
their mommy to be playing with them and not be tired. And the only way to not be tired is to take care of yourself. So if you think it's selfish not to take care of your body. It's selfish not to take care of your heart, because there's so
Absolutely.
many people depend on you. And thinking sexy and attractive, like, men love it, right? Or women, like whoever you're in a
Yeah.
relationship with, right? Your spouse, your partner, they want that sexy vibe. And a lot of people get divorced because they forget who they are as sexual beings, right? And sex is all about pleasure, and you have to bring pleasure before the sex into your life so you can have
Yeah.
said sex, so you can have your marriage, so you can have happy marriage, so your kids can see how to take care of themselves. Because if you tell your kids, well, eat junk and don't care about yourself, like, you're never going to say that to your kids, right?
Mhm.
But if you show it in your example, your kids are watching, right? Do it for your kids to show them how to take care of yourself so that they can take care of themselves and their
Mhm.
kids. Because now it's your turn to pave a new path for your kids to see what
Yeah.
it's like.
Yeah.
So it's not selfish at all. And if you can take 5 minutes to put pretty underwear, go on Amazon, buy hanky panky. They fit one size, fits all,
They're
whatever colors.
great.
Like, yeah, I have so many colors. Like, and you know what? I was wearing an outfit and my friend was joking. Oh, I was trying something on. She goes, wait a minute, your underwear and your bra match your dress? And I'm like, duh. Like, it literally takes the same amount of time for me to pick underwear that match to the bra to the dress. Like, it's the same drawer of underwear. But
Mm-hmm.
because I have them in different colors that make me happy, and they're super comfortable, they're not underwear that like rides up your ass, because you want to be happy, right? You want to be
Yeah.
comfortable. But those things take a minute to pick the right underwear. But when you do, and to shop on Amazon, right? When you do, it sets your tone for the day. It snowballs into you picking the food that makes you happy, that gives you energy so you can be happy and energetic with your kids, with your husband, have sexy time, like Borat. I'm not gonna say it here because it's like sexy time. I cannot make sexy Borat. I mean, I think it's hilarious, but Sacha Baron Cohen is really hot. And actually, like watching movies and things that make you happy, like that also brings you pleasure and joy, right?
Totally.
And then you're happy and you're smiling and your kids come in and they play with you, and like it just creates like these little things. People don't think that underwear makes such a big difference, but it really does,
Yeah.
and so does green juice. Or at least like chlorella pills, but that's like a whole different story. But there's so many little things you can do by just knowing that you I don't know if you deserve pleasure. I know, of course, you deserve pleasure, but I don't know if it will really ring to you. But I will say your family, your loved ones
Mhm.
deserve a person who is happy and who has pleasure in her life. So
That's
if you,
such a beautiful way to approach when women are in that, that this is selfish. Should I really spend the time, the money, right? The resources on myself, blah, blah, blah. It's like, abso-fucking-lutely.
you cannot afford not to. Listen, you're
Yeah.
gonna buy underwear anyway. Buy, instead of buying cheap underwear and you buy a lot of it, buy expensive that's gonna last you a long time
Yeah.
and it's gonna make you happy. If you're buying food, like buy less quantity but better quality. You buy
Hmm.
clothes, buy clothes that make you so happy and makes you feel sexy and luxurious and whatever, however you want to feel. But happy. Everybody wants to be happy. We're born happy. And so um it's our birthright to be
Mm.
fed the right
Yeah.
things and to feel good.
I
And
like
if
that word, deserve sometimes I find can kind of trigger a
yeah
little, right? And I mean, I love to get to the place where it doesn't, right? For women, for sure, that's a goal. But birthright, that feels really powerful. And
yeah
oh, yes. Oh my goodness, this has just been so good. I could talk to you
yeah, I
forever.
know, we need to wrap up, but there's so much more, and I'm always available. I love people reaching out,
Mhm.
and I can teach them about foods that love them and how to
Mhm.
find the perfect fit. So, and so do you. You,
So,
you coach for that. So
yeah.
pleasure.
So please tell the audience how they can find you and connect with you. What's the very best way?
Social media, like you and I connected, Chef
Mhm.
Alina Z, on Facebook and Instagram, or my website is alinaz.com. But the best way is really Chef Alina Z, ALINAZ. Just reach out to me either through direct, slide into my DMs,
There we go.
or just message. I've met so many amazing people through social media, so I'm always happy to help. And I actually am in the process of creating a new online program called
Mhm.
Feeding Your Lonely Heart.
Oh,
And I
beautiful.
bought the domain feedingyouronlyheart.com because I find so many women are hungry. And my book is called Single and Hungry, but I now think I should
Mm,
have said it lonely and hungry, because you can be married and freaking lonely and hungry.
yeah.
But I want to help women because I've spent days being so lonely, years being so lonely, even being in relationships being lonely, because I was lonely inside. And
Mhm.
now I'm so like I'm genuinely happy inside, and so I feel like finally, like it's my duty. It's selfish of me not to share. So
Oh,
yeah,
well,
so
thank you for doing so. So when are you launching that? And if someone wants to be a part of that, how do they go about doing this?
message me so I can put you in
Okay.
a wait list. I'm in the process. I've done my online, I've done my private practice for 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want to take it online so people all over the world can use this material and help themselves. So I already have the materials. I just need to upload everything and record the new online sessions, the
Mm-hmm.
modules. So when I'm launching, God knows when, literally God knows when.
Yeah.
I'm doing it only when I feel pleasurable and it feels
Yes.
pleasurable. I only want to record when I'm in the energy of happy giving And I have clients right now that I'm working with. Some I'm okay, I'm happy with that, but I just want to do more. So I'm always
Mhm.
available for privates now, but the Feeding Your Lonely Heart program is going to be available, soonish, I don't know, a month or
Yeah,
two.
beautiful.
Yeah, because nobody needs a summer body. You just want like a happy body. And happy
Yeah,
body is available now. You know how to get a bikini body, by the way?
put a bikini
Put
on.
a bikini on. Have a body, put a bikini on. You have a bikini body. So anyway, it's that simple. But how to have a happy body, that's what I'm happy to teach. How not to
Mm.
have a lonely heart, I'm happy to teach. So
Oh, sweetie, I just love that. And I just love
so
you.
oh, I love
And
you.
I'm really wanting you to come back on and talk about all the things, because there's so many different ways we could have taken this. And
Yeah, so much to talk
oh, I
about.
did have rapid fire questions, but I think that ending it on this is perfect, because I've gotten to know you better, through this time together, and I'm not feeling like the rapid fire questions are necessary. But what I would love is for you to share your, maybe it won't even be your most favorite, right? But a pleasurable recipe that will help to incorporate nourishing, soul nourishing, body nourishing food. Do you have a favorite one that you would like to share with the audience?
Yes, so it actually has a stain on my book because I use my own book in my kitchen. So this is from
Yes.
my book. There's a stain because I make it quite a bit, and now I remember what the recipe is, but it's a chocolate mousse. It's a
I have
chocolate
your book here. What page is it?
143.
Okay.
143, and it's very simple. It only has five ingredients, which is either almond milk or coconut water, maple syrup, cacao powder, avocados, vanilla, and sea salt. And sea salt is
Mm,
important here because it will actually bring out the sweetness and balance it.
okay.
But all you do is literally like you just take these ingredients, and you can post it in the description of this podcast, but you
Hmm.
just dump all of these ingredients into the blender and blend it. Like it's easiest thing ever. And what I love about it is, well, first chocolate. So
Right.
second of all, it's creamy. So as women, because we feel so stressed, like creamy food, that's why
Mm,
we crave ice cream, is soothing. It's just like
mm,
very soothing texture. And then it has avocados, which help reduce potassium and lower blood pressure. And it has a little bit of caffeine from the cacao and magnesium that also helps us relax. And it has a little bit of sugar, so it gives us a little bit of energy. But because of the fat and the fiber from avocado, it doesn't go right into our system, so we don't have a huge sugar spike. And then it's so simple to make. And then you can put toppings if you want crunchy. Like on the picture here, I have coconut strips and I have berries. You can add whatever
hmm.
accessories you want with it. But I just love it because it takes literally like 2 minutes to you just get everything, just dump it in the blender and blend. So super easy, right? And so satisfying. And you can use
Mm.
it as fudge for like cakes. You can use it as a frosting, not fudge, frosting for cakes too. It's like super versatile, but it's just so soothing and so nourishing and so naughty. Like I'm all about naughty foods too,
Yeah.
and being a
Yeah.
badass and like I do like, but almost the go with the goody two shoes. We have like our alter ego, and in my program we actually like work with that, which I love doing. But it's like a naughty food and a nice food, and it's like perfect. It just makes you feel so good. And then
Yeah.
you can
And
lick the bowl with your finger,
yeah.
and it like feels so good when you like lick your fingers and like on your nose, and you feel like a kid like all over your arm. I love it.
Oh, that's so fun.
I'm like I'm 41. I love being a kid. I think I'm more of a kid at 41 than I was at 27.
Well, it's because you're bringing play, play is
Exactly.
pleasure, right? And you've
Exactly.
brought so much of that into your life, and you're radiating with that, which is so fun. And I'm going to make this, and I'm going to serve it in my most beautiful dish for
You
myself,
have to put in a
right?
beautiful dish.
Yes. So appreciate it. And yeah. accessorize it and all of that. So really good. I'm going to make that. I'm actually going to post this on
Oh,
Instagram.
cool.
I'll post a picture on Instagram of me enjoying it. So
It's so yummy. So
oh,
yummy.
well, thank
So
you so much for this. You are amazing. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you more and for the listeners to do so as well.
yeah,
Because
I'm so
you are
excited.
a blessing, my friend.
You are
Okay.
too.
Thank you
Thank you,
so
honey.
much. Bye.
Bye.